Hello and welcome to my channel, ITTCT Travel with T, which is me, Tina. And ITTCT stands for If These Trees Could Talk. First of all, I need you guys to like, to share, and subscribe to my channel. And please share it to get the message out about my new channel. And the first video that is going to present to you guys is If These Trees Could Talk at the Whitney Plantation. And we were at the Whitney Plantation recently. Guys, I'm getting a little tongue-tied. I can't talk, but I'm just excited. And such an amazing place to go and visit. The Whitney Plantation in Vacherie, Louisiana. So without further ado, I'm going to present to you guys the video. And don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and share and like the video, and just stay tuned. So when you do the notification, you do the bell, you know when I've posted a new video, new content, and I got a lot to share with you guys and so many other places to visit. And as always, I want to bring you guys there. So like and share and subscribe and turn on your notification bell. So we're gonna get started. Thank you. Guys, this is at the beginning of the museum. They have different little statues along the way, and I'm just gonna speak to just speak through the video just to kind of show you guys what's what. This is at the beginning also, where they have the name of all the people engraved here that were at the plantation. And guys, it was a lot, tons of names of slaves. Also just walking through the plantation, it's just so much scenery, so much to see. We're beginning to go to the back of the big house in this little swamp like thing, I guess, water. You can see there's the bell. Actually, yeah, just a hand. I'm sorry, it's not a bell, y'all. It's a hand showing where the chains, and this is the actual beginning of the big house. You can see the oak trees, how massive they are, and you can just see so much. There's another oak tree, and there's a story about the oak trees. When you see the oak trees at the plantation, normally the slave master, there when they die, they're at the that's where they're buried at the foot of the oak tree. So this is the inside of the big house. As you can see, there was different artifacts that are there. It was so surreal. Most of the house was closed off because they're remodeling it. But this is the original the house, what they call the big house. And as you can see, there's a chimney, fireplace rather, more oak trees. We're just walking around and just looking at the massive oak trees along the way. And there's a little statue of a little slave child that they made. And there's, as you can see, the oak trees. The trees, if they could talk, what would they actually say? What would they say? What would they say? And that's the front of the big house and the side of it. It's just so much. I just hope one day you guys can go and visit. But there is a lot that you can see here, and this is just only the beginning. So as we continue to walk on, we saw different houses there. I'm not sure what these are, but I can't recall because I just took them from a distance because we couldn't go back there. It was roped off for some reason. I'm not sure if they were actually remodeling back there, but I just took these pictures from a distance. I'm not sure exactly what they are. But as you can see, they're old. Those buildings are old. And this is another picture of the back of these big house. And as we began to walk, and when you're going through, they have this audio that you put on your ears. It tells you all the information. You can actually have a tour, but we tour guide, but we opted out to do our own little self tour with the assistance of the recording that we had attached to our ear. Every location that you went to, you would actually play. It would tell you from one to how many numbers. I think it was like 14 different sections within the plantation. But here, these are actually the slave houses. We went into the houses in different artifacts, as you can see. The furniture is old. Everything was just was so surreal. I guys, when I said I can't really explain the feeling of how I was feeling just knowing that actual slaves lived here. It was something else. It was absolutely something else. And as you can see, this was a sugar plantation. And you can see the sugar canes all over the place. That's what the slaves did. One of the main crops was sugar cane. And they worked in the fields, and some of the stories that you would hear about some of the how that some of the slaves are even mutilated with the machete cutting down the sugar cane. And it not just only by the hands of the slave master. It was a dangerous job. They only did not just do sugar cane. I believe at this plantation they did indigo too. It was a dye that they produced here. But this plantation is so much history. I believe this is where the blacksmith worked out of. Old, as you can see, there's a lot of, I couldn't really can't read the red writing but on there. But it was so interesting. And like I say, the blacksmith, they had their own place where I'm pretty sure there were a lot of enslaved people there that were happening there. So right here we're at they I believe this is the jail. This is the jail, y'all. This is where they would lock the slaves up when they put them in jail. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you the feeling that I'm feeling right now. It's just sad that they would bondage them and shackle them in the heat. And in Louisiana, it gets hot. So this is the jail. This is the jail. So as we begin to travel on through the journey here, you can see this is a slave house. The little slave children were sitting on the porch, and this is an actual bed in the side of the house. You can see the fireplace. And then outside I believe there was like a chicken coop back there. More beds that the slaves actually slept on inside of the house. There's the table, and this is how they actually lived in there. And these are the sugar bowls that they had outside as well. And this is another slave house that was roped off that we really couldn't get. I just took pictures from far off. Guys, this was I can't keep reiterating how surreal this was, but it was powerful. It was very, very powerful. And these are fields, and we just walking on. And guys, right here, I felt something that was so within me. And on from here, you're gonna see I'm fixing to talk about the German coast rising. So I will talk about the German Coast Rise a little later on in the video. But as we proceed on, there were different artifacts that they were there. I can't remember what that one was called. But there's the bell that they would ring for the slaves to come out of the field or come in for lunch, dinner, or whatever. And just different scenery along the way. And what we're about to see in a second is the names of different plantations and some of the things that the slaves would say in their dialect about what would happen and how they felt about different things. And of course, here are more sugar bowls that along the pathway there at the plantation as well. And that's where they would mix the sugar cane in to actually make the sugar as well. So there we're going to come across more names of different slave names, last names, and on one of them we even saw our last name, Lewis, Lewis, and just different things that the slaves would say. So now here we are at the Antioch Baptist Church, which 1870. This is where the slaves would attend services at. The church is actually now being restored. And we couldn't actually go in and see anything about in the inside of the church. We only saw the outside. And at the end, well, in the museum, they asked, if you want to sign a little note, which my sister and I, Jackie, we did our names and how we felt about the tour. And again, we proceed to that's at the beginning of the plan, at the front of the entranceway, and more videos of the names. And there's the walkway and more water around the plantation as well. Again, you just have to go here to experience it for yourself. And as we approach more plantation, more of the plantation, you see the slave houses in the background that I took off a distance, and also more of sugar bowls. They of course were filled with water and stuff in front of the slave houses in as well. So now we're at the German coast rising, and it says that in 1811 the German coast involved an estimated of 500 people who had been enslaved in the lower Mississippi River parishes. The goal were to capture New Orleans to free all the people enslaved there. They knew if they were not successful, only death would be at the end of their journey. 20 were arrested, sentenced to death, and their bodies were exposed to the public after execution. Some were shot or hanged on the levee. Some were beheaded, and their remains were left to be viewed by crowds of onlookers. They were beheaded and their heads posted on poles along the river road in front of their plantation. Enslaved men, women, and children were forced to attend this barbaric procedure, and they were like between 20 to 30 years of age. So this is sad. Here they are. They wanted to go and free the people, but they were beheaded for what they did, and they were put on, their heads were placed on display in the river where they were killed. So this is tragic, and it was so tragic to even witness. So now we're at the Field of Angels. This memorial honors 2,200 enslaved children who died in St. Jude the Baptist Parish between 1823 to 1863. Disease and harsh labor created high death rates. Enslaved mothers suffered tremendously. Frances, an enslaved laundress on this plantation, lost 5 children by the age of 23. 3 died within 1 month. That is so sad and so tragic. So tragic. We are here at the Whitney Plantation. I'm just giving a scan of the view of what is in the visitor center. Oh my gosh, y'all, this is so amazing. Life on a slave ship. Could you imagine? Could imagine being on a slave ship. The Middle Passage. It says approximately 20% of the captives who left America's shores. More than 2 million people died during the journey. Slave traders threw the sick and dead overboard. The survivors were sold into lives of slavery at ports across North and South America. How interesting is that? This is what they call the long boat. Let me get a little closer and look at the video. What it says. Some more sugar bowls along the I think this was toward the end, and I just threw a few other pictures in of different artifacts that were on the slave houses. just some things that and again, there's a picture of the big house. There was a well, I believe. It was all overgrown. And this is a statue within the museum. And these also are pictures within the museum. There was so many. I have so many pictures. I just didn't put them all out there. But they all had captions to them. And there was just so much information there just to be reviewed and looked at. So I just want to share a few of the pictures within the museum. In itself, it was very amazing. So, guys, if you get a chance, go and visit the Whitney Plantation in Vacherie, Louisiana. Bring your family, bring the children, because here's the thing, we don't know about our history, but it's time that we learn about our history. But I just want to thank you for watching. I want you to subscribe to the channel. Just go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, and I thank you all. Goodbye.